on the growth path, property number 3, 4 and 5. Many real estate investors will stop when they get to their second investment property. Having a principal place of residence and 2 income-earning investments is often enough for most. But investors looking to go all the way will eventually set their sights on investment number 3, 4 and even 5. By the time you start seeking out investment number 3, you should have a pretty good idea of just how far you can go in terms of borrowing, the areas you have in mind for the investment, and the knowledge of some tips and tricks you have so far learned along the way. Let's look at this scenario in terms of an example. Sharon and Mitchell bought their first home, and shortly thereafter 2 investment properties. Before they looked at purchasing their third investment property, their finances looked like this. Sharon and Mark had 3 properties with a combined value of $1,470,000. Sharon and Mark had mortgage debts for a total of $754,000. This gave them equity of $716,000. The third investment property cost $410,000 with a loan of $435,000 required. This purchase would bring their total property value to $1,880,000 and of course at the same time raise their debt value to $1,189,000. Sharon and Mitchell now have debts of $1.2 million, but they own almost $1.9 million in property. This might seem scary to many, but remember that the pair are still $691,000 ahead if they sell out tomorrow, and that's not even taking into account holding on to the properties for some time and cashing in on compounding returns and a reduction in debt. For most, by the time they reach investment property 3, they will be in some serious debt. Good debt is never much of a worry, like Sharon and Mitchell, but for some investors it's very difficult to get your head around. As long as you can afford the repayments, have some money put aside for emergency repairs and keep some cash in reserve for unexpected vacancy periods of troublesome tenants, taking the risk of purchasing your third investment property is well calculated. Property 4 and 5 will follow much the same path, but all investors should check out the numbers with a qualified financial advisor or accountant first. My knowledge tips. 1. Investors looking to go all the way will eventually set their sights on investment number 3, 4 and even 5. 2. For most, by the time they reach investment property 3, they will be in some serious debt. 3. For some investors it's very difficult to get your head around